It's a time for more packages from China. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video, we are going to do something pretty damn awesome. We're going to talk about the most powerful Game Boy you can buy, or better said, like money can buy. The reason is I just wanted to review this is because I think this is like a really cool piece of technology. I already reviewed a couple of these Game Boy Pies, but this time this is the latest edition and with all the crazy features that it comes with. And I just needed to show it here on the channel what you can do with it. So the Game Boy Pi comes in many different variations and I will show you here on the channel what I mean. Because basically it's like freaking Pokemon, you collect them all. But even the Game Boy Pi, I love to call this thing, yeah, the device itself has a lot of similarities when it comes to the original Game Boy Classic. But still, there are a lot of differences. But of course, if you're going to put them side by side, there are a lot of differences. So first of all, when you're looking at the original Game Boy, the shell is completely different, also with the color. And maybe some of them have been like getting a new color due of the age of the plastic. But still, yeah, they are not making these Game Boy Pies with original shells. These are like aftermarket shells. I can say like some of them are looking really cool, even like transparent colors. There are like a gazillion different versions of them. Nevertheless, it's pretty damn awesome. So where the Game Boy original had like two buttons, the A, B and D-pad, select start, and at the back basically nothing. With the Game Boy Pi, here we're going to get the next level, because then we're going to get the 6-button layout. I personally really love it, especially for fighting games. The D-pad feels very nice, but still when you're looking at the way how everything looks and plays, it still has some feeling of an original Game Boy in my opinion. Still having the select to start rubbery buttons, but this time we're going to get an analog stick. And at the back we're also going to get two extra buttons. I know there are like different configuration and even some other brands out there who make it with 4 shoulder buttons, but 2 is more than enough for me. But what powers this device? Just to show you like basically what you're going to get inside in the Raspberry Pi 4. The Raspberry Pi 4 has so much potential when it comes to emulation performance and also when it comes to like doing a lot of other stuff. But in this video of course we're going to talk about the retro gaming part, because that makes this thing so pretty damn awesome. And you can play a lot of good games nowadays. But the Raspberry Pi has been used in many of these Game Boys, also including the Raspberry Pi number 3. I personally really love the Raspberry Pi number 3 for what it is, but especially if you want to play some high-end stuff, think about Dreamcast, then you're going to need the juice when it comes to the Raspberry Pi number 4. Okay, but what does this thing have to offer when it comes to having an older Raspberry Pi Game Boy? So I will give you like a side-by-side comparison later on, but the first thing I really love about the new model is that we can have like interchangeable cartridges. And the fun fact is like basically if you have like multiple people want to play this thing, you can have your own cartridge with your image, your save files, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Like with the original Game Boy, you can just load it up, boot it up, and you can just play a game. How cool is that? And like the awesome features, you can see like they are trying to improve this device, even the shell stays the same. Okay guys, so let's do a quick overview of the device itself. So first of all, I really love the Game Boy Classic for the shell. It feels so comfortable to play even now today. And yeah, some people like the Game Boy Advance, some like the Game Boy Advance SP, but this device, amen. But nevertheless, so the 6-button layout, what I do like about it, the touch itself, the touch of the button is very nice, feels like high quality. The D-pad is a very long travel D-pad, but it feels very comfortable. And I must say that I was very pleased to see like that we're going to get an actually good D-pad. Over here at the left we're going to get the scrolling wheel that you can push up and down for volume control, Type-C for charging, on-off switch. If you turn it on and off, you can see like with the original cartridge you cannot pull it out. Then we're going to get ourselves the 2 rubbery select buttons. I must say that I'm not a big fan of the, let's say the back buttons, because they don't feel that super comfy always. Then we're going to get USB and we're going to get an HDMI out, so we can use this thing actually like a Raspberry Pi game system. Another aspect I find very important is the audio, and the quality of this tiny speaker is amazing. But when you take a close look at the LCD display, here you can see like this is just actually like a very good product. And I mean like it feels premium, but also when it comes to the LCD display, you can see they're using this beautiful IPS display. And that is the thing that we didn't have with the first generation back in the day. So even that these things are very expensive, you're going to get a lot of value for your money, if you ask me. But what makes this new Raspberry Pi based Game Boy better than all the other ones? So beside the beautiful display, and they did a lot of tweaking with the software, especially when you want to add yourself some games, you have now the possibility to play more like higher end stuff. Think about PlayStation Portable. PlayStation 1 already did run very well on the previous model, but especially when it comes even higher up, Sega Dreamcast, stuff like that, it will run way better than this. And yeah, when it comes to like a Raspberry Pi, I must say that you need to take consideration that you need to do a lot of, let's say, tinkering with it sometimes, and you need to have some knowledge of the Raspberry Pi. But I must say that sometimes you will notice that some of the games will have glitches. It is possible, that's always something you need to take consideration, especially when it comes to Sega Saturn, because it's a very difficult, let's say, game system to emulate. Maybe in the future with some new updates, they will get it right and will get most games working. But I find it quite fascinating to see that Sega Saturn has like so much good FPS, especially when looking at other devices, Android based, stuff like that. I find it fascinating like how much, let's say, emulation they get out of a tiny board like the Raspberry Pi 4. So I'm very curious if they're going to release a Raspberry Pi 5 or stuff like that, or a 4B, what they can even do with that. But for now, this is what you're going to get. Okay, so with mixed performance, I just needed to show you this. So with the Sonic Racing game, it will get like stuttering to the maximum level in the beginning, but when the game boots up, it's still playable. So you can see like with Sega Saturn, that pushes this device to the limit. So now you can see like it works very well, and you don't have any issues, and you can just enjoy the game with some weird Sonic Racing. Especially, I really hate this game, like, ugh. But only if you want to play some PlayStation Portable. Basically, this game is designed for widescreen, and we don't have a widescreen, so we're going to get two black bars at the bottom and the top. I think it's not a big of a deal, but so let's see if they map the button correctly. Yep, they did. That's something I always like mess up with the Pandora's boxes. Okay, so let's try the analog stick. So it works perfectly. And you can see we're going to get quite a good performance when it comes to PlayStation Portable. Alright, so next up, let's try our old famous God of War. And you can see where it's getting quite crowded, you have some minor hiccups. So the emulator has been set to no frame skipping. So if you're going to enable frame skipping, you will get, of course, a better performance. But it's up to you to decide if you can live with a minor hiccup now and then. Okay, so next up, let's try some N64. So when it comes to N64, it always has been more like the problem child of the family. And I must say that with the Raspberry Pi number 4, this thing works very well. And I mean like very well, the best you can get from a Raspberry Pi 4, because this is a freaking demanding game. You can see some minor hiccups. And I just realized I have no idea like where the shooting button is. Oh, there it is. But I find it so fascinating to see that we can actually play GoldenEye on my freaking Game Boy. I've played this game so much back in the day as a child. And fun fact, I still play it on my original N64. Okay, so next up let's try some Game Boy Classic games, and they look just amazing. So if you don't like it, you can remove the bezels in the menu and you're just going to get yourself like a full screen. But it is like a completely different experience if you want to play your old school games on the Game Boy Pi. This game has like most of the most awesome soundtracks ever made. But the thing is, like with these games, they run just all fine. And up to, let's say, MAME, you name it, but there is some catch. This thing will not run on this device, especially if you want to put them on the original clock speed. If you're naughty, you're going to get whipped by my tail. But let's do a quick side-by-side comparison with the older model and of course the Game Boy Advance edition, because LCL made a lot of different versions, and just a quick overview what are the differences and what did improve with this tiny retro emulation beast. So when it comes to LCL Game Boy Pi systems, I must say there's a lot of development, but also when it comes to like the evolution of a device, we can say it like this. So here you can see like this is the Pi number 3 edition, and even back today he just made an amazing piece of technology, but he did make some different changes. So for example, there are some different options with the shoulder buttons. These are also again 2. I did notice like they're having different version, but 4, it's crazy. They're still using the same battery like in the new and the older model. But when you're looking at everything like the scrolling wheel, some things have been changed out. For example, the thing that we can do, we cannot remove the card itself. They still have the on and off switch over here. They have a charger port micro USB. And yeah, there are some minor differences. So over here we're going to get the CF card. But when you take a close look at this model over here, the new edition. So like the layout itself, it's almost the same when it comes to the buttons. The touch, you can see that they even improved the D-pad of the Pi version number 4 over here. But here you can see like when you're looking at side by side, then we're going to get some minor differences. So this device has a TV out function and all of these minor upgrades. Of course, fun fact is like now we're going to remove the cartridge itself, already shown you before. So let's take a close look at the Game Boy Advance. So the Game Boy Advance edition was more like a different model, but it was the same idea. So this thing came with an SM3, and SM3 is an amazing piece of hardware. Of course, we did have like, that's kind of weird, now we're going to get like the rechargeable batteries inside. So when you're looking at this, it's a quite interesting concept. We had the option to remove the CF card, or better said, the game card with a CF card, SD card inside. We had shoulder buttons, 4 of them in total. So it's quite an interesting concept, I really like it. But let's boot them all up, I will show you a comparison between the displays. And when you're looking at the displays, you can see that there is a significant drop in quality. And also there we're going to get the biggest difference when you're looking at the new model. This new display they are using in the Raspberry Pi 4 edition is super vibrant and really colorful. Personally, I really love it. But especially when you're going to put a side-by-side comparison with the 2 displays, you can see like how vibrant the new model is. So, and that makes me really happy to see that even if they're basically releasing over and over again new models, they still keep improving the system itself and try to make a better product with every new release when it comes to the handheld, in this case the Game Boy Pi. But I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So this product is still one of my favorite ones. There are so many of these handhelds out there, especially when it comes to the chipset and the stuff you can do with it. I find the Raspberry Pi still a very interesting product, especially when you're looking at the Game Boy Pi. This device, it has so much to offer. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this. What do you think of the shell itself, or are you not a big fan of the Game Boy at all? But thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell to become one of the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.